Hello everyone, welcome back to Path for Cloud. So in today's video, we are going to discuss Helm chart. So before we jump into the Helm chart, we need to understand what is the requirement of the Helm chart and what exactly the Helm chart is. So far, we have done a lot of implementation in our in this Kubernetes course, right? Where we have deployed a lot of object, lot of resources which is related to maybe network policy, cluster role binding, service account, storage, then you have deployment, service files, all these, right? So in overall, if you need to update any of that manifest file related to of your one deployment, right? What you need to do is you need to update each and every resource of that particular deployment, right? Let's say if you are changing the replica count or if you are changing the uh, service account, like whatever the property you are going to change, what you need to do is you need to change each and every manifest file wherever you are using that particular properties. Technically, it is fine, but it is completely overhead, right? It is something that very error prone because we are humans and we intend to make errors sometimes, right? And that is the reason that is not recommended in production. Like you need to do that. Technically, nobody is going to stop you. You can do, right? But in order to overcome that scenario, right, in order to we need something that which can help us to track each and everything with the single command, and that's where the Helm comes in picture. So Helm is nothing. Helm is just the package manager of your Kubernetes and works like an install and uninstall wizard, right? Because why? Because when you do a Helm, right, when you package your application, what application is? Application might have your deployment, it has might your config map, it has might have secret, it has might have PVC, PV, and maybe it has, let's say, service file, and there are many object, right, which you can keep on because you cannot stop yourself because whatever that you want you can implement for your application. So to package all these manifest, all these object inside one single uh, thing, right? That is something we call a chart. And how to maintain that chart, how to install your application, that's where the Helm binary will help us to do that stuff, right? So basically, Helm is nothing. Helm is the package manager of the Kubernetes application, which works like install and uninstall wizard. Like we all are friendly with that installing something in the, let's say in Windows, right? You just double click on that exe file and you just follow that installation wizard. You just simply say next, next, next. At the back end, you don't care that, okay, how many libraries files are there, how many binaries files are there, what are the build artifact, that kind of that software, the installation wizard knows, okay, how and where I need to copy which file. Similarly, in the Kubernetes, we have the Helm who can help us to install all these things, right? Because it helps you to install, not only install, it can help you to upgrade and manage the complex Kubernetes application easily. Why? Because we don't need to track each and every object of our application, right? That we can directly do with the Helm. So Helm is a bundle of YAML template that defines the deployment, service, config maps, creates ingress, and many more, right? That's we have already discussed. If you have your application and that application has all these manifest or the template or the YAML files, you can package those under as one something called Helm chart. Okay, so there are few concept for the Helm chart basically, and those are most important to understand, right? Because chart, the first thing is chart. What is the chart? Chart is nothing the package like an app definition. It all bundles all these files and that we call it as a chart. You can do that. I will show you how you can create your own chart, and if you want to bundle your chart, how you can do that as well, so that you can make it available to the public. Then we have the repository. Just now I have mentioned that you can make it available for the public. That means that you need to host somewhere that the chart, right? You need to upload that chart somewhere so that everybody will go and grab that chart and do your stuff. So in order to do that, we have something called artifactshub.io, and there are another Helm repositories as well, where people who build that chart, they can host their chart, and you can simply add that repository inside your Kubernetes, and then you can just install the charts which is hosting by that particular repository. Repository are nothing, it's just like a same. We have the Docker Hub, right? We have that other repositories. Similarly, for the Helm also, we have few repositories which you can add inside your cluster, and you can install a chart, whatever the chart is there inside that particular repository. Next will be the release, right? In the first line itself, we understood that Helm is not helping us only for the installation, rather it is helping us for the upgrade. If you are upgrading something, definitely it will gonna create some a different release version, right? And if you want to roll back, similarly we have seen that in deployment, right? In deployment we have understood, if you want to roll back, if you want to go for a next version of your deployment, and unfortunately if something is not good with the new deployment, you can easily roll back to the previous deployment, right? Similarly, in the Helm also, it maintains the releases of your chart. If you are upgrading your chart, let's say if you are using some image for your application, right? And if you have done some customization in that image, and now you want that image to be installed across your cluster, you want to test something. So what you can do is you can tag that image in your deployment, and you can upgrade your Helm installation. That way it will gonna create a new release, and now you realize, okay, there is something wrong with that new tag, new image, right? I want a rollback to the previous version, and that's where this release helps you to roll back to your uh, Helm chart or the Helm installation of your application. I will show you the demo as well. Now we have something called the values.yaml. This is the most important part of your Helm chart. I will show you why. See, Helm chart is something that which you can create your own chart and you can publish that, right? But I don't want that a particular deployment. Let's say I name it as a deployment my app, but you don't like this name, right? Maybe you want that, okay, I need to name it a different name, or maybe if you want to segregate with the different environment. Let's say it is for test, and then you want to do it for, let's say, dev, and then maybe you want to do it for the prod, right? Like that, maybe you want to do it, right? But if I hard code these names inside my deployment file, then this code will not be kind of dynamic, right? You will not like my chart, you will not gonna install that chart for you. What I need to do is I need to give some window so that you can give, or you can provide your own name to the deployment. But now you can ask me, right? Like if I just need to like maintain or modify all these files, then what is the use of the Helm chart, right? I can do all these things without my Helm, because that is the requirement we understood when we start this today's topic is we don't want to manage all these manifest file. Rather, we want to manage only a one single package. But here you are talking about that, okay, if I need my own name, my own custom values, I need to update this. No, that's where this values.yaml will come in picture. This will give you a free hand of your customization of your chart. Whatever the versions, whatever the parameters you are defining inside your templates, right? Template is will be the nothing. Template is just a group of your uh, group of your YAML files. All YAML file, all manifest file you need to put inside the template directory, and whatever the value you want to be customized, you want to be give your own environment, that you can define in values.yaml. And whenever you are creating any chart or you are installing any chart and you don't want to go with the default values which comes with the that Helm chart, right? And you want to do your own thing. What you need to do is you just need to update this values.yaml, and that's it. The rest part, whatever the name we just discussed as a part of example, everything will be taken care by the Helm chart as a part of templating, right? So templating is nothing. Templating is just to parse that value, whatever you are defining as a parameter inside the values.yaml. Those values will be passed to that particular deployment YAML file, and it will get that value and deploy accordingly, right? So there will be a workflow for the chart, right? There are hell lot of repositories which I talked about, right? So there is a Bitnami repository which is a kindly common or a very popular repository. You can install that repository, and whatever that repository is hosting chart, right? From that you can install that chart and you will have that particular deployment up and running. How you can do it? Helm, repo, add, all these things you can do. I will show you. Then if you want to search any chart, right, you can simply search Helm search repo Nginx. If you want to install any chart from a particular repository, what you can do is Helm install, and this is nothing. This is just the name of your release. Whatever you are doing, this is just the name of that release which you want to give, and this is the repo name which I just installed or maybe added to my cluster. And then if you do have a requirement to install that particular chart in some particular namespace, you can define this. Otherwise, by default, it will gonna install that chart in a default namespace. If you want to see the status, you can check Helm list, and for a particular namespace, as we do for the kubectl command, you just need to specify that namespace. Now, if you want to upgrade that, whatever that you want, let's say you have do with the done with this installation with the two replica. Now you need to install, or it is just an example, right? If you want to do it for replica count, you want to increase, how you can do it? You can simply say Helm upgrade. Whatever the release version you want to release is nothing, the app release, that the name of that application which you are installing using the, or you have already installed using a Helm. Then from this repo, and you just need to set that particular new version of that replica count. This is the workflow, right? But before we start, so I just thought to explain this workflow, and then probably we'll uh, see this in our demo. Now you don't want that application, you have done your testing, right? And you don't want to run unnecessary thing inside your environment. What you can do is you can simply Helm uninstall. So in this workflow, you can see that you don't need to deal with the multiple manifest file, right? If you have installed your application, where you have installed your deployment, where you have created some secrets, where you have created some uh, you can say that config map and everything. Now you can ask me, okay, if that is the thing, I can create and everything, all these things within a single YAML file, and I can just segregate that each and every definition inside a single YAML, and I can just yes, you can do, but that's again, that's not the correct way. That's not the uh, best practice in the industry to keep your right. You can do, nobody is going to stop you, but again, that code will not be kind of dynamic. If you need to change something, again, you need to go through each and every line inside that. By over the time, let's say you have all these defined inside a single YAML file, right? And on one fine day, you found that, okay, you have that 1500 plus line of code inside a single YAML file. Now that is the challenge begin, right? Now if something is broken, or if something you need to update, right? You need to read, you need to go through each and every line, and that's is the problem, right? So to overcome all these stuff, that's where we have the Helm chart. We can simply create one, and we can use it across all our lifetime. When you want, you can just simply shoot one command, Helm install. When you are done, you can simply Helm uninstall. The rest all dependent object or the any other resources, it is getting created inside the kubectl or kubectl or Kubernetes cluster. It will automatically delete those, right? Why we use Helm, right? So Helm, we just need to understand why we are dealing with the Helm. So it simplifies the deployment, right? No need to manage dozens of YAMLs manually, right? That's what we understood. You don't need to manage. It can simplify your deployment. Templating and variables, dynamic values, environment specific. That's what the environment and the example we have took here, right? That's the benefit we are getting for this. Then we have this version control, easily rollback of your releases. That's also we have discussed. Reusability, share your app as a chart for others to use, or if you don't want to share, you can use this n number of time inside your environment, right? You can use the same chart and you can deploy multiple releases use that same chart, right? If you want to do this public repository, I will show you. This is the artifacthub.io, where you can see that if I want to deal with the nginx, right? So here you can see that with the nginx I have around there are multiple charts available from the different vendors. You can see that this is managed by the Bitnami, which we just discussed. Like, okay, this is something that Bitnami, right? If you go y- and click that, it will just show you that, okay, only the publisher which is having Bitnami, these all charts are available from the Bitnami. If you see overall, we have more than 18,000 packages available. Packages is nothing, that's the only application we are talking about, and this much of releases. It is almost a 4 lakh, right? So I was talking about that Nginx. If you go there, so you can see that this is the Nginx and it is managed by which? It is managed by the Bitnami. And this is the URL of your particular thing. So you can see if you want to add that repository, if you want to install this, then you can just go to that Nginx published by the Bitnami, read all these stuff if you want to get more insight of this particular package, what exactly it is doing. And then once you're ready, simply hit on that install button, and then you can add the repository. Helm repo add, and from that repo you can install this Nginx. This is the Nginx, this is the version we are talking about, and this is the name of my release. Right? That's what we can do. Let's come back to our notes. So for each and every this one, right? For each and every charts have some specific directory structure. So what that directory structure is, that directory structure is like this. It has let's say this is the name of that particular your see chart name, and then you have this stuff chart.yml, which is nothing, it is just the chart metadata which maintain your name, versions, and that particular description. I will show you how it looks like. And then we have the values.yml, default configuration values, or if you want to override, then you need to deal with this value file. Then we have the license, it's just the chart license. If you have any readme.md file, is just to give you a taste of your chart, like how what exactly your chart is doing, how you can use it, and all these stuff you can put. If you have any other dependency of your chart, then you need to put those information under this directory. And this is the finally the template, which is nothing, a Kubernetes YAML template of all manifest file. You could have your deployment, service, ingress, config map, secrets. So whatever we have discussed, you can just need to put here. And once that is done, you can simply say Helm install and define your chart name and it will gonna install. If you want to upgrade, Helm upgrade. If you want to roll back, Helm roll back. If you want to uninstall, you can simply go and do that uninstall that particular stuff. Now, to deal with the Helm, right? First, we need to install the Helm, right? So we can simply go this official document of the Helm, and we are using our Ubuntu-based machine, right? You can see you have that different binaries and the methods available to install your Helm based on your operating system. So since I mentioned we are using the Ubuntu, so this is the stuff. Just copy and paste it and you will be done, right? I have already done that installation just to save our time. If I just simply run Helm version, I think it is simply, yeah, Helm version, you can see I have installed this 3.19. And if I do this Helm hyphen hyphen help, then you can see that what exactly we have for the Helm. Helm search, search for the chart, pull, download a chart to your local repository to view, install. Obviously, we have seen that Helm list is just to release the chart. These are some environment variables where it can store all these things. And this is the different Linux. What is the cache path, configuration path, and all these we can check. These are the different commands, sub commands available for your Helm. So we can see that repo is there, rollback is there, registry is there, push, pull, lint, install, history. So all these are sub command of your Helm, right? Let's say if I just simply say Helm list. Uh, as of now, you can see that I don't have any releases, right? If I had one, it would have listed that there, right? But we will install one and then we'll see how Helm will show you that particular list here. Okay. If I just show you that Helm repo list, so you can see that I have already added this one of the repository. If you want to add more repository, you can go and you can install those repository here, right? Let's come back to our there is one more thing. If you want to get the help for the sub command itself, right? Like I want uh, all options available for the repo, Helm repo. You can simply just pass the Helm, then the sub command. In this case, it is repo, and then I'm looking for the help. What are all options available for this? You can see that you can add a new repository. You can update or you can create an index for that particular. You can list that, okay, what all repository list like we did here. You can remove that one, you can update all these stuff you can do, and you can go through all these document based on your requirement. Now if I go and I'll just show you this part. So Helm uses a chart which is collection of file that we already understood, and we can download the chart. That is also done. Now we can see that there are multiple commands which I just tried to paste here, which generally we see inside or maybe as a part of your daily routine. Like Helm help, we already seen that. For the sub command, if you want, you can just see this Helm search chart name, right? So you can do that Helm search, right? Let me clear my screen. And if I do Helm search, let's say Nginx. So what it will do is, uh, okay, we need to give it the available command, right? Because now Helm don't know where I need to search, whether I need to go to the internet to search this Nginx or I need to go with the particular repository, right? That's we need to define for this to work it. So here you can see if I just say Helm search hub and then I give the chart name, it refers to the artifact, right? So let's try to add a command called search hub, and you can see that it took little time and then it has listed a lot more repository with versions, chart versions and everything. You can see that these are the URL for that particular repository. I can go and I can add that one of the particular repository. What is the chart version they are following? What is the application version? And what exactly that particular uh, uh, chart does, right? So this looks for where? It looks for that uh, artifact.hub. If I just simply count how many it is, so maybe it will not show you the correct count because it is listing counting these lines as well. Similarly, if I'll go there and I just for the Nginx, so here you can see that these all are Nginx available here, right? Now, the second command says we can use the repo as well, right? And it will just will look a specific repo with the mentioned keyword. If I'll simply go instead of hub, if I just say repo, okay, we need to deal with this. And now it will look a particular repo which we have already added inside our environment. So it is looking where it is looking that will look a specific repo with the mentioned keyword. Whatever the keyword it found as a what? As a Nginx, it will show you. So here you can see this Nginx, it is showing that okay, we have this repo which we have already added. We have this ingress controller, we have something called Nginx Intel is already there. So these all kind of keywords are listed inside these repositories. That's what the Helm Search Hub and Helm Search Repo is. If you want to add a particular repo, that's I have already shown you, you can just simply go and you can add that like we have this. So what I have done is Helm Repo add and just give this name. If you want to add a different repo, right? Let me show you how you can do. Let's say my repo and you can just simply search for another repo. Let's say if I search for Prometheus and if I want to add this repo, you can just simply go and this name you can give any name, right? It's not something that you need to give, but it should be descriptive so that whatever the repo you are adding, right? If anybody is going to look that, okay, what exactly that is, then it will be clearly understood, okay, this is something related to that particular repo. So here you can see that new repo has been added, my repo with from this URL, and this is something that, right? So that's how that you can do. If I just want to now search for that particular Helm search repo and I want to give a Prometheus as a keyword, then it will look all the repositories, whatever is available, and those have keyword called Prometheus, then it will list you all the charts like it did for here. So here you can see that there are a hell lot of Prometheus stuff for my repo. You can see it is coming from the Bitnami as well, and it is coming from my repo which we just added, right? So that's how you can deal with all these, and you can, if you want to see okay how exactly that particular thing works, right? So what you can do is you can simply say Helm pull from this. So what I will do is, let's say I want to see this one, or maybe I want to see this. So what I can do is I can go, I have nothing here, I will just simply say Helm pull monitoring, and I will just simply s- put that particular chart name, but we need to define that particular URL. So I will gonna put this complete URL, and I will just say this one, and then I will say the URL called Prometheus chart. Uh, okay, my bad. I need to give like this. and I need to specify the URL. Now what exactly it is saying is you need to deal with this got from non-absolute URL. There is something in the form of repo name and path to chart. Yeah, that's what we are doing, right? Let me see in the documentation how you can pull. I think it was showing for the Nginx. If you want to go and if you want to pull, so Helm pull and this is the version. Okay, so I think we don't need to specify this. We just need to say, and at the end we can specify, okay, from this repo I want to pull this chart. So that way it can download that. Instead of installing this, you can inspect this, right? Remember, I have mentioned that you can deal with this. Okay, it is not finding. Maybe there is something else name for this. But simply, if you copy this, right, and if you put here, so what it will do is it will download this Nginx chart from that particular repository, and you can inspect that chart.yml. You can see there is a different file come. If you want to do it with this, you can simply say untar, or you can untar this file as well because it will be in gz format. Now, if you go to the Nginx and you will see uh, tree, if I'll just command, so there are a lot of files, right? This is the same directory structure which we were talking about here. If I take you to that our example directory structure. So you can see that we have that chart.yml. Notice that we see is in caps here. We have that read.md. We have the charts. If you have any other dependent chart, then you have the template, and then you have that values.yml, which we generally deal with this values.yml. If you want to expand something, if you want to change something, if you want to modify something, right? And under the template you can see that we have hell lot of files, right? We have this deployment.yml, we have this hpa.yml, ingress.yml, prometheus, rules.yml, service account. So whatever the object is required in order to run this application, every object or every manifest file you can keep under template. And if you want to customize or if you want to templatize that particular value of any YAML files, right? You can define inside these values.yml file, right? That way you can do it for yourself. Now, if I go back, here it is saying that, okay, you have added this. If you want to install it, right, just simply copy and you can go to your cluster, because here you can see we have already added this Helm repo list, and it will just show you that, okay, what all repos you have added inside your queue. So this repo is already added. Now I want to install this Nginx. You can simply say Helm install, and the name of that particular release you can give any name, but again it must be kind of descriptive. Okay, maybe I'll just remove this version. It is saying that it is not finding that particular version. So now let's see Helm install, and you can simply say the chart name and from which repo. It is from this chart which comes from this repository. So what exactly it will do? It will install each and every object of that particular. You can see we have a long output, but if you just scroll up, so it is saying that, okay, name was my Nginx and it was deployed in the default namespace and the status is deployed. This was the chart name, this was the chart version, and the application is latest is 1.29. Which the I think the latest version of the Nginx. Now if you just say Helm list, this time you can see that previously there was nothing, but now we have that one release which is in sitting in default namespace. There is only one revision of that particular release and it was updated on this date. And then we have this status was deployed and it was that Nginx, and this is the app version, right? This is how that you can do it in your stuff. If you want to see, okay, what it has done, you can simply say kget all. Now you can see that it has done that my Nginx. because that is the deployment we have done, right? It has created one service, which is a kind of load balancer, and it is a deployment.yaml and replica.set. Now you can see I don't want to be this service as a load balancer. I want it to be as a kind of node port, right? And that's where this values.yaml will come in picture. If you directly installing it from your repository, then there is no window, right? You cannot update that values.yaml. So, so to achieve that, what we have done is we have downloaded this our something called uh, chart nginx, and here if I want I can deal with this values.yaml, and I will just look for load balancer. You can see it is the type of the load balancer, right? And if I simply change it to node port and I will save it, and now I will go and I will just say Helm list, right? And if I just simply say Helm upgrade my nginx, because that is the name of your release, and I will just simply installing it from this nginx, which is a chart which we just pulled. So let it deployed and we'll see now what is the revision of that particular release. It is done now. Let's check the status. It is again a deployed, and indeed you can see this is a revision 2. Now if I just say Helm list, it has a revision 2, right? If I now do kget all, you can see that the service for my nginx changed to node port. So this is how you can change that particular thing, right? Now you can see I don't need to deal with anything. I just want to deal with that particular values.yaml, and automatically it picked that particular parameter value and deployed it. Now I found, okay, I don't want to go with this, right? I want to go with the previous version. So how you can check that? You can just simply say Helm history of what? History of this release. And you can see this release has two revisions. One is this where it was installation was completed, and then another one was the upgrade completed. Now you think, okay, no, I don't want this. I want to roll back to the previous version. So how you can do Helm rollback, and I want to roll back which release, this one, and which version I want to go with the one. You can see how easily you can roll back, how easily you can upgrade, right? Although it has a lot of YAML files, a lot of dependency, but you don't need to worry about. You just need to worry about your chart.yaml, you need to worry about values.yaml, and that's it. Now you are on the right track. You can see that rollback was success, happy Helming, right? If I just see now Helm list, you can see it is revision 3. Why? Because it has created a another release which is just to roll back to 1, right? So that it will keep track each and every actions which you are taking against your particular application. It is not something. Whereas in the deployment, what it was doing is it was just deleting the revision 1 and it is creating a revision 2 and revision 3. But now you can see that it has each and every timestamp when it was done, how it was done, and that is you can see that revision 1 was done at this time, now revision 3 was done at this time, and what is the action you have taken. If the app version was changed, probably it will be really done here, right? You can see that it was 3, now it has 2. What is the nginx chart version was used and everything, right? That's how you can deal with this particular help. Now, uh, apart from that, there are many things you can just this is the life cycle which we just discussed, how you can install, upgrade, and list, and then you can history and roll back all these things. There are one thing, right? You can create your own Helm as well, right? And I will show you how. And then we'll see that okay, there are multiple other thing also which you can do with your Helm. But before that, let's see if you want to write your own Helm how you can do it. So what I have done is I have already created a something called helm.demo, and if you see, if I just run the tree command here, you can see that this is the same kind of structure which we have here. We have something called chart.yml. We have something called templates, and under template I am just dealing only one because it is just a simple example of your Helm demo, right? And then we have the values.yml. Let's see one by one what it is. So if I go up here and if I'll just under Helm demo, if I'll go with the chart.yml, so chart.yml is nothing. As I mentioned earlier as well, chart.yml is something which we just do your Uh, chart.yml where it is. Yeah, it is a metadata, name, version, and description. So that's what we can see that, right? It is the V2 is the Helm 3. As of now, it is Helm 3. There was a time when the people uses Helm 2, but now Helm 3 is the mostly used. What is the name of your particular chart? What is the description you have? What is the version of your chart? What is the application version you are talking about? Let's say you have that 1.1, 1.2. So whenever you are upgrading your particular Helm chart, so it is important to update your Helm as well so that you will understand, okay, for a particular application, which chart version was used. Then we have something called maintainer who is going to maintain that. So it is a path for cloud, and if you need any help, then you can just drop an email, all that. So these all information you can, why? Because when you deal with this information inside your public repository, right, then might people might contact you for a particular update, or maybe they want to give you some feedback. That is why I'll show you one thing. I have copied one of the Uh, yes, this one, Nginx. So this is the chart.yml, which is already there. We just installed that from the Bitnami, right? So how you can do is you can define this. You can see that API version is this is for Helm 3, app version, application release version. If you have any dependency for that particular thing, you can define that, right? And from which repository it is coming, is there any tag and the version of that particular chart, what is the description. Then you have the home for the home page URL, like where you have defined this. If is there any icon if you are using for your thing, right? You can see that this is the icon we are dealing with, right? So this is the information you can put inside that, and these are the keyword. If anyone is looking, like we have done that Helm search repo, and then we have given the Nginx. It will just show you. If we have given the HTTP, then it will also come the same thing. I'll show you. If I just say, let's say HTTP, right? So that is where these keywords helps you to find. If you are looking for that particular thing, then maybe you can use any of the keyword and you can see. Now you can see the maintainers, who is maintaining, is there anything URL, what is the name of that particular chart, what is the source if you are hosting that particular thing, and what is the version. So this chart.yml is nothing, it is just to deal with the metadata of your particular chart, and that's where it will help you. So you can see it is just giving me the same thing, Bitnami Nginx. You can see that, right? Nginx open. Maybe there are other charts available with this keyword, but what I wanted to show you is if you look for the HTTP, then also you will reach to the this one. That's where these keywords helps you to understand this, right? So that is the chart.yml. The next file which we have created inside our this one is the values.yml, right? Let's see what we have in values.yml. So in values.yml, you can see that it is nothing, it is just a kind of YAML file, right? And where we have some properties defined, some keys, and some values are assigned to those keys. Here you can see we have the replica count. I am defining a 2. Then we have the image. For image, we have it is a kind of dictionary where we have a 2 key value. One is the repository is Nginx, tag is this one, then the organization environment, the service, and some resources we have put, right? Now, if I go to the deployment.yml, maybe it is not looking good because it is highlighting these errors, right? Because that is not added inside this VS code. So rather, what I will do is I will just go inside here and the deployment.yml. So here it will be looking good. So what I am doing is, or maybe we can just discuss here as well. This is the normal deployment file you can see, right? But if you notice, we have some kind of different syntax in this deployment file which we are using, right? It is nothing, it is just the templating which we are using inside our deployment. Remember, we have discussed these all these things. If you want to deal with, then you can pass these value inside a values.yml, and we have done. If I'll just do this stuff, let me open that values.yml as well. So this is nothing, this is the release version, right? Release version is nothing which you give your name. If I'll close this and if I'll just say Helm list, so this is the name of your that release. If you don't give anything, it will pick a normal by default is release name, right? There is one more thing I'll show you later. Then there is a replica, right? Replica is coming from where? Coming, these are some default, right? These are some default variables which you can define inside your values.yml or maybe inside your template. This is something that the user defined. So I need to give a full root path dot values, and inside that values we have something called replica count, which is a 2. So automatically when we run this, right? So this template will render these parameters into that values, and finally we'll get these. So we don't need to deal with these templates. We just need to deal with values.yml, which will give you an exact value of that particular thing. Again, this is the release name, and these are little bit advanced, but it is a still basic. But I thought to include. But maybe I will create another video on complete Helm lifecycle, Helm, all these rules and what are the other thing we have Helm. But from the CK perspective, I think it is enough. But still, I thought these are the basics thing, so I have included here. So here I have included a if condition for this. Sometimes what happen is there are few values which might not require, but a user can put, right? And if user has been is putting that value, and if that value is defined, then only you want to include. So that's where if it's simple, right? If anything you want, and if you want on basis of some condition, then you can do that. So what I am doing is I am doing if these values dot org underscore environment, if this label is defined, label will be set only if the defined in values.yml file. If you are defining it, then only it will be setting it, otherwise this will be ignored, right? That's what. And this is that the image which we are just showing you. From the image what it is doing, because if I just cat that particular values.yml here. I think I lost the connection. Let's see. But anyways, we'll see. So this is the values under image. That is the dictionary. Under dictionary, we have one key called repository and a one key called tag. You can see here as well. This one, right? That's what it is calling it. And where it went? Come on. Then we have something called this one with block. With block is something like if you don't want to deal with this such long name, what you can define is you can define your block like this one. So what I have done is I have defined this values dot resource dot request. If you see values resource dot request, right? Otherwise, what I need to do is I need to define like this. I have done with this. this value, how I can define dot values dot resource dot request and dot CPU, then it will render my value. But this is something that is common for both line, right? Wherever you have a kind of like you don't want to deal with such long path of your root. Root is what? Root is your that dynamic file dot values file. So you can just define your block like that way, and you can just pass that value what you want to do it. And simply for the limit as well, I am defining a block is values dot resources dot limit, and inside that limit I have two key CPU and memory, and I am just passing that. Similarly, there is one more thing. If there is something is there, right? Let's say if you want to expose the service only and only when you have the load balancer, like that you can put. So what you can do is you can define that particular YAML file inside a if block. So what I'm saying is if values.service.exposed, that means that if it is set to true, then only the service will get created, otherwise it will not get created. That's what it is doing. Okay, so let me re-log in. Okay, I need to power it on. I will come back. Okay, the machine is on now, and we are inside our master node. Yes, kget nodes. Yeah, both are on now. So I was talking about that Helm repo list, right? So let's say there are three things now. You have created your chart, which is nothing, which is just the Helm demo, which I just show you that how it looks. But how you will make sure that whatever you have done, there is no mistake in that, right? So we need to verify this, right? So in order to verify, we have three things. One is you have that YAML syntax that should be good, right? Second thing, you have that template that also must be good. I mean, the template is you want to check whether whatever the templating you are doing, whatever the values you are trying to render, that will be passed accordingly and set what you wanted to set, right? And the third thing is you want to check, okay, if I install my chart, what exactly it is doing, right? Then you can do something called dry run. And not only you want to see with the dry run, right? What dry run will help you is if you want to make sure Kubernetes related object that must be good, right? YAML syntax will just check whether a particular file is good enough for the YAML. It is passing that YAML syntax, fine. It will not check if you, let's say you have this template dot deployment dot YAML file, and if you just give the small d here, right? This will not give you this error. It will say, okay, for me YAML looks good. Template will also not going to check with this small d. It will just check whether this value is defined or not. If it is defined, then I need to pass that value. Whereas this dry run option will gonna check whether your file is defining as per the Kubernetes standards or not. That's what we need to do. I think I have mentioned somewhere as well to verify how you need to do it. So this is the templating I have defined. These are the functions which we just discussed. There are a hell lot of functions, hell lot of other parameters, and these are the chart hooks. I will show you the chart hook as well. And then we have something called verify. Here you can see, right? Verify where I mentioned. One second. Okay, here it is. It was there under templating. I forgot. Anyways, so here you can see what it is doing is Helm lint to check the YAML syntax. Okay, it will just check the YAML. Helm template will do your templating. and the Helm dry run, right? Helm install dry run, it will list and show all the changes which it will gonna perform, and it will Kubernetes related misspelled object or property name, that is also it will gonna highlight, right? So let's quickly do one thing. Uh, let's clear our screen. First of all, I'll just gonna Helm lint and I will just say this. So here you can see there was no change in this. There is no errors, obviously, not change. There is no error inside our chart, right? If you have any, then probably it will just show you that particular thing. It is not as per the YAML syntax. Obviously, it is giving some recommendation that you should add a icon inside the chart.yaml. So now what Helm lint is doing, Helm lint is reading each and every file inside that helm.yaml, right? The second thing was Helm template, and you can see that. If I just go to this deployment file, here you can see that name, the first name, it is what it is showing is, it is showing nothing. Why? Because we haven't set anything. You can see that by default it is picking the same name, but you can set this name, right? Let me set you, and that probably it will be good. You can say that my web, okay? Now if you come back and you can see release name was passed with the my web and hyphen app. Replica count, you can see dot values dot replica count, it is coming from that default values which is 2. Similarly, this is my web app. This labels, you can see this organization test. Why? Because it was set inside our chart.yaml. That is why it is coming here. You can see that this image.registry nginx.1, and the tag it is coming this one. Then we have something called this one with block resources. You can see that we have the request, and under request we have this, and then we have limit. Limit is also passed. Similarly, for the service, it is also getting exposed because we have set this value to true. What value? The exposed value. Let me do one thing. Let me change this. I will just do one thing. I will not set this, and I will just set this to false. Now let's see what will happen. If I'll do the same thing, now you can see that I'm running this command here. There is no service file. Why? Because this exposed is set to false. So this condition is working now, and if it is not set, obviously it will not gonna deploy that particular object. Whereas if you see this label, right? Organization value label will be set only if it is defined in the value. Now we are not defining it. So here you can see that that is missing. There is no, whereas earlier it was there, and we have the service file as well, right? So that's how that you can control this YAML files, right? Now, if you want to install it, or if you want to just see that, or maybe what we can do is, let's say I'll go inside Helm dot and template and the deployment dot YAML. I'll just make some, let's say I just want to see this. Okay. Now there is no parameter for this. If I just run now, it is not giving that value. Uh, you can see that where it is, come on. You can see it is not passing. That is something because it is not set, right? But still templating works. Why? Because the syntax was correct. So let's do one thing. Let's remove this one of the flower bracket, and now if I do this, so it is saying that okay, there is a problem with this I think I, yeah, now it is working. You can see that it is saying this, There is one another command also, you can debug that particular thing, so it will just show you okay in which file and where it exactly the problem is. You can see that the problem is in this file and the line number is 7 and you have missing this, right? Because in this demo we have explicitly mentioned create this error, but if you are dealing with the real scenario, then you can use this debug, which will show you the exact command. And now if you run this, it will good enough. Now we are back and we are getting the replica 2 as well. The third thing is Helm install my web, and if I just say dry run, you can see that nothing has installed. If you just list, you can see there is no my web, but it is showing you if you want to run it, you can see that it was the name of the release will be set to my web. The status was pending install because it was a dry run. It is not deployed yet. And this is the revision, and it will gonna manifest, it will gonna do all this stuff. If you are think okay everything is good, then you can go and you can install it. And now one error occurred. Okay, there is some problem with this. I think there is a typo somewhere. Let me see. First we'll check in the values. In values it looks good, and then we'll gonna check inside our template, and we are dealing with, okay, here it is. You can see MEMORY. Now if I want to install it, it will get installed. Installation failed, cannot reuse as name, that is still in use. Okay, let me see. Maybe it was failed. That was the reason, right? So what we need to do is we need to uninstall, or what you can do is you can just simply remove it. Uninstall my web. It is uninstalled. You can verify there is nothing. You can simply install it again. Uh, we have saved it, right? Let me check again. Deployment.yml. Okay, here also there was two error basically. Now it should be installed now. You can see status is deployed, and if you see, you can see that you have this my web up and running, and if you see kget all, you have all these my app web app. Now there are two things. One is something that if you want to do this stuff with the what do you call it? Uh, you want to change it on fly, right? You don't want to do with the custom file, right? What you can do is you can set it this way. Let me do one thing. Helm uninstall, and I will uninstall which one? My Nginx. STALL. Okay. Now we have only one release is working, and if I do, we have two pods are running, right? I want to upgrade this. There are two ways. You can upgrade this my web, and you can just simply pass that particular value, and you can update inside a values.yml that replica count, and you can, but you don't want to do that. I want to set it as in a this one, because I am overwriting this, right? It will gonna read my values.yml where it will found that okay there was a replica count is 2. But now I want to override that. So you can, from the CLI, you can override it and you can set this. Okay, there is one. Now you can see that it is deployed and revision is 2. And if you see now, you can see that it will be running in a moment. Probably it is replica count. I'll show you why it was not done. If you go with this, you can see it is replica count. C is caps, right? So there is a typo. I will just copy it and I will just go and run it again, equal to 3. It is done now. If you want to see, you have that revision is 3, and if you see, now you have 3 pod running just 6 seconds before. That is how that you can do it. If again you want to see the history of that particular chart, you can go revision, you can see. If you want to override, you can go and Helm rollback my web, and I want to go to revision 1. And if I want to check, now you can see this one is rolled back to 1, and again we have a 2 pod running. One is already deleted because with this revision we have replica count is 2 only, right? That's what this one. We have other thing as well, like we can define a range function. Maybe I will uh, discuss this with the small video in some other day, maybe in our Helm dedicated video. But these are some additional thing which we can define. These are the part of the templating, right? Where you can define the with block, you can define the named template if you have multiple things are you are running, right? What you can do is you can create one helper dot tp1 file which just template your all these repeating thing. You have that Helm hook. Helm hook is nothing. We have a different Helm hook. I think somewhere I have mentioned. We have multiple Helm hook, right? Which will help you, right? See, the problem is with this rollback. When you roll back, right, it will just roll back the object of your Kubernetes. Let's say if you have that disk attached to that application and you have some data with this rollback one. Now you have done with the rollback 2 and you are kept it running on for 2 days, and then you realized, okay, there is something wrong and I need to go back. You can roll back, right? It will gonna roll back your replica or your application or your release to that particular thing, but it will not change that disk. Whatever the data is there with the release to, that will be there, right? So to overcome all these scenarios, we have a chart hook which will help you to maintain. Where, let's say if you have a pre-install, right, you can define a pre-install hook. You can create one job, you can create a pre-install hook where if you want to upgrade, so before getting upgrade, what it will do is it will take a snapshot of your disk, it will take a snapshot of that database backup. So if tomorrow you need to roll back, then you have that particular snapshot of your database that is can also be rolled back. So you have the consistency from the infra perspective where you have this object, and you have the disk level consistency as well where you have that particular thing. Then we have the post installation, pre-upgrade. These are few hook name which we generally use with the chart hooks, right? So that was all about the Helm. I hope this video was helpful and we learned something new today, how you can deal with the production grade level applications, how you can ship it your application as a package so that people will just deal and handle your application with simple command helm install and helm upgrade, helm uninstall. All right. So yeah, if you learned something new and if you found this content was helpful, then I would request you to please subscribe my channel, share it with your friends, colleague, comment it out here just to reach to some more audience so that it will reach to wider people and everybody will get benefit from this. Okay, I will meet you in the next video where we will see that what additional topic we can pick. For today, that's it. Happy learning.